Hi, hello. I'm Angel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm up on the roof again. I'm nearing the end of day 2 of my do-it-yourself roof project, which is, by most people's standards, quite the endeavor, although, you know, like most things, turning out to be just a matter of knowing, and there's no way like doing to find out about knowing. It's what I have learned a lot of times. I'm about a day and a half behind my predicted schedule, which is to be expected, right? The first day was because the delivery of supplies was delayed. Lucky for me, the weather has extended its promise of a little bit warmer nights, so I'm hoping to still get my I got base sheets and then cap sheets that go over this whole tapered system. And nearing the end of day 2, what I have to share about this tapered system is, so my roof was ponding in some areas, so it wasn't perfectly flat in the first place, and this tapered system was designed with a perfectly flat roof in mind. So I have brought up some filler insulation that I just happen to have sitting around, and I put some of this, which is just low grade, I forget what it's called, EPS maybe, insulation under some of the lowest spots. And of course that has created some, so the whole thing about the tapered system is it is indeed tapered. Let me show you a piece. This is the thinnest piece here, and you can see it runs from 1/2 inch to 1 inch. These are the double A's. Then I have A's, which run from 1 inch to 1.5 inches, I think, or 2 inches. And then I have B's, run from 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then I have C's from 2 inches to 2.5 inches. And then I have some filler, 2-inch filler, that goes in the center here. And the whole idea is to, you know, taper it. That's hence the name, tapered system, so that it drains to my canales. I have a cool little plan here, printout, which is what my roofing company, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we can get to where you can see it. What my roofing company gave me. I can't see if you can see that. I think you can. I think you can. Anyway, you get the idea. But what I found, and so what I determined, you have a sense of, I can see, what I determined after getting started yesterday was that I needed to chalk line these diagonal lines. I don't know if you can see those from each canale. So here's one. There are some cuts to incorporate, you know, to basically split up 2 boards into quarters of the double A's to make for that nice slope. I did that on this one. Maybe not as nice. So I'll get to this in a second. Let me finish what I was saying, which is, so I determined that chalking these diagonal lines out was the important thing, or at least having a kind of a mental note of where these diagonal lines go to, because those are where the cuts go. And what I've determined since then is that my roof is so imperfect in that it's not perfectly flat to begin with, and then I'm adding those filler pieces, that this whole plan is kind of a wash. It's a great guideline, and I am indeed using it and referring to it a lot. And if my roof were perfectly flat, this would be the bomb, and probably it would go a lot quicker. But since it isn't, and also it's not to scale, and so already, like, I just ran out of my 2-inch fill. Now I have a few stray pieces, and actually my C-plate pieces are 2 to 2.5 inches. So even a little thicker. I probably paid more for them than the straight fill. And I have almost enough 2-inch. I could have used one more sheet. That said, I think I'm going to have some extra of the C and the A and double A, which I won't have extra when I'm done. I'm going to use it all up. But I did buy only 4.5-inch screws, and I may end up having to go get some different size screws. I got some 1.5" for the low end and some 4.5" for the high end, and I may have to go as much as 5 or 5.5 now that I've put some of that infill, and then I may need some intermediate. But all in due time. I figure what I'm going to do today is finish laying this out. So over here is a whole stack of C's, and over there is some B's, some A's, and some double A's that are still left, and I am almost done covering this deck. So then those will get used for tapering more from the center to add more slope. I've got my level and some boards so that I can make sure I add that slope. And in the end, at the end of the day, today, it's not going to be perfectly, uniform. It is going to be close enough to glue down my base and then my cap sheet, I believe, because I've seen people do that, over far less perfect surfaces than this is going to be when it's all said and done. I will add that I was worried about the strength of this insulation for walking on and later putting solar panels on, and I'm happy to say it seems to hold up real well. Now, is it as strong as OSB or strand board or plywood? No, but it's a lot cheaper and easier to not put that up here on top, which was an option. I opted, so this is ISO insulation, unlike that filler that I showed you, which is EPS. The ISO, or polyiso, I think it's called, is quite strong. It has a higher R rating. This R value is averaging just over 11 R factor. I'm a little brain dead at the moment for telling you what that means, but you can look that up if you need to. There's different types of ways that we talk about how heat dissipates or gets blocked. The point of all that is, so in the thinner spots, obviously I'm going to be adding a lot less, and in the higher spots some more, but overall averaging about 11, which is a nice amount of insulative factor to put under this roof. So I'm excited about that. Gonna get back to work and finish decking this out, hopefully get the slope all figured out, use up all my pieces, and start anchoring them down with any luck by the end of the day, although I may have to wait till tomorrow. I was really hoping to start rolling things out tomorrow. Oh yeah, I also wanted to show you, I bought some tape thinking I would be taping my edges. Turns out it doesn't stick all that well, and I'm probably going to take some of it back. I also bought some cheap foam filler, and when I get it all screwed in and held down, then I'm going to come with this foam spray and just fill in any gaps and go around. So you can see here, I went really rough around some of my openings, and I'll do a better job of filling some of that in with some stray pieces, and then I will finish that off with some foam spray is my plan. And of course, when I do the base and the cap sheet, those will get brought up, maybe even with some flashing around all these openings, so that we will keep the water out. I am excited that I'm coming up closer to my parapet, which means less work for me on the parapet, although potentially more likelihood that it could drip over the edge, especially if I get a big snow, which never used to happen, so I'll have to think about that. I don't get a heavy snow but once or twice a year usually in this town. I'm going to get off of this phone camera now and get back to work. So here, I'll just give you a little walkabout. This is one of the relatively high spots. Drains to over there, so there's a diagonal line coming this way, which I didn't cut all of, but I did create that slope going that way. And there's another canale over here, so I've created a slope going that way. And then one over there. It's kind of the main one that I'm aiming a lot of this for. This front is going to get more of this fill here, so that probably some of those seed pieces are going to go here, so that I really keep water sloping off of this front corner, because there's no canale here. And then over there is my fourth canale, and way over there is that one. So this whole area will drain that way and that way, as per, I don't know if you can see in this drawing, there's one cricket, which is a high point, and that goes right here. I'm not actually going to follow these plans and do the cricket exactly because, as I mentioned, I'm doing some infill stuff in the middle, and I figured out that the main point is to get a smooth transition between pieces and to have an overall slope to the drain. So that's my main objective. I'm going to finish cutting these infill pieces to finish the last bit of uncovered, and woohoo, that part will be officially done, and then I will use up the rest of this on my taper. You can see there's quite a bit over there to work with, and I'll just use it up for insulation and slope. That's my plan. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. As always, you can find ways of supporting me and connecting with me in the description. And until next time, I wish you lightheartedness, love, peaceful conflict resolution, amazing adventures, successful do-it-yourself endeavors. Ciao.